Hello, it's good to see you. Today we are going to be making a recipe that I found in the Lidl's fall publication. It's pumpkin scones, and it looks pretty simple and it sounds really tasty. So this is in the most recent publication. I'll see if I can find it online. If I can, I'll put a link in the description to it. To make this, you don't need a lot of stuff that's weird. I always like recipes that have a lot of stuff that I already have on hand so I don't have to go get it. For this one, we're going to need 2 cups of all-purpose flour, a tablespoon of baking powder, 2 teaspoons of cinnamon divided. You're going to need to take the cinnamon and divide it. One teaspoon here, 1 teaspoon there. You'll need a half a teaspoon of pumpkin pie spice, and I happen to have this here that I got at Aldi. This is Stone Mill pumpkin pie spice. A half a teaspoon of sea salt, 1 egg, a half a cup of pumpkin puree, which I have right here, a teaspoon of vanilla extract, a half a cup of brown sugar, and I just got a new pack of brown sugar just today. A half a cup of heavy cream and a tablespoon of sugar. So the first thing you want to do is preheat your oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit and line a baking sheet with parchment paper. And then we're going to get into mixing stuff. And now for this recipe, we have 2 separate bowls of things that are going to be mixed together. We have dry ingredients and wet ingredients, so they're going to be mixed together separately. But it gives me a chance to show off my lovely mixing bowls that I got at an antique store. They're not really antiques. I think they're from the 80s or something. But in the first one, it says you need to use a large bowl, so I'm going to use this one. And for the second batch of stuff, we're going to use the lime green one right here. Here we have the large bowl. Now in this bowl, we're going to mix together flour, baking powder, a teaspoon of cinnamon, pumpkin pie spice, and sea salt. So here we have our 2 cups of flour. Right there. That's 2 cups of flour. Okay, and baking powder. Here we have our baking powder. Just sprinkle that over the top. 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. There's our 1 teaspoon. We're going to need a 2nd teaspoon of cinnamon later. Pumpkin pie spice. Smells good. And our sea salt. There. Now to mix that together, we're just going to use a whisk. Okay. There we have our dry stuff all mixed together. Now we'll do the second mix. Okay, and here we have our lovely green bowl. Look at the little speckles all over it. Now in this bowl, we're going to add the egg. I have 1 egg. We're going to bloop that in there. An egg. Pumpkin puree. This is a half a cup of pumpkin puree. Right there. So there's our pumpkin puree. Vanilla. Right here. And then brown sugar. That should just fall out. Okay. Okay. And now that we have that all mixed together, we're going to set this aside and go back to the large bowl because now it's time to add the butter. Okay, this part's going to be interesting. I've never done anything like this before, but what we're going to do, we have this block of frozen butter. We're going to remove the paper from this, and then we have to take a cheese grater. And using the large holes on a cheese grater, you're going to grate the frozen butter into the dry mixture. So we'll see how that goes. Okay, so I have this nice Oneida grater. I don't know. So I'm just going to grate it into the flour, or the flour mixture. And then I have to use my hands to make sure that every piece of butter is coated in the flour mixture. This is kind of difficult. They're sticking inside the grater. Graters always make me nervous. I'm always afraid I'm going to hurt myself. I'm probably doing it wrong, but this butter is cold. And I'm holding it whatever way I can to not... I don't know. I'm trying to minimize the coldness. Well, there. It took a very long time, but I got all of the butter grated down into the flour. And I mixed it all by hand so that each bit of butter is coated with the flour mixture. Now we have to gently mix this into that. I'm just turning it a little bit, and then I think I'm going to use my hands to work on it. I'm going to get my hands down in there. Okay, my hands are clean, I promise. Now what you're supposed to do, you're supposed to mix this together until it forms a dough. And if you need to, you can add a teaspoon of cold water. You're supposed to mix it together until a soft dough forms. I said mix by hand. Ooh, it likes me. It really, really likes me. Right now, an assistant to bring me a teaspoon of cold water would be awesome. I mean, it is making a dough, as you can see. I don't think cold water is going to help anybody right now. I need Superman or Lex Luthor or someone who can operate something that would possibly destroy the earth to come here and help me with this thing. It's so sticky. Okay, I didn't want to overwork it too much, so I added just a little bit of flour to it, and that made a huge difference. So what I need to do now is take my little lump of dough, and I need to shape it into an 8-inch round disc. And I have this plate here, and I measured it, and this is 8 inches around right here. So we're going to take our dough, and we're going to try to convince it to do that. It's still a little bit sticky, but not as bad as it was a minute ago. Okay. It smells good. I don't know how it's going to taste, but it smells pretty nice, actually. There. Now, I'm going to wipe my hands off. Now I have to cut this into 8 wedges. And I have my handy little OXO pizza cutter. I think this will work. Maybe. 2, 4, 6, 8. Now they're ready to go on the pan. Okay, now I have my pan with my curly parchment paper on it. We're going to be taking these wedges and placing them at least 1 inch apart on the paper. I'll just lay them up there any old way. Maybe I should do it with a little more of a pattern. Okay. Now, we are going to now take our heavy cream and a little basting brush. And we're going to just we're going to brush the tops with the cream, like that. Just the tops. So this is just heavy cream and a basting brush, and I'm just putting it on there. And if a little bit of it gets on the parchment paper, it doesn't matter. I don't reckon it'll hurt anything. Brushing it on. Tap, 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 like that. I think I got more here than I need. Just put it on the top. I thought we were going to need it to put in the scones, but it was actually just to go over the top. Okay, there. And now all we have to do is, we have a mixture here of cinnamon and sugar. It's a teaspoon of cinnamon and a tablespoon of sugar. And I just mixed it together, and I'm just going to sprinkle it over the top of each one of these. That's a little one right there. Oh, they smell good already. And our last one here. Okay, now that we've done that, we are going to bake these for 25 to 30 minutes on 400 degrees Fahrenheit, and we're going to cool them before serving. All right. They're all baked and they're so pretty. Look at them. They puffed up quite a bit. Now we're going to let these cool off, and then we're going to try one. They smell great. I can't wait. All right. Look, we have our little pumpkin scone. Aren't they pretty? I think I've only made scones one other time, and it might have been cinnamon scones. I had some of those cinnamon baking chips, and I think we made cinnamon scones with those. If I recall, they were very yummy. So it's nice and cooled off completely. It's beautiful. I'm going to give it a shot. Oh my word. You can definitely tell there's a whole stick of butter in this recipe. It's so light and lovely. It's beautiful. Look at it. It's so light and it tastes so good. It smells so good. It smells like pumpkin pie with extra cinnamon on it. It's so crumbly. Oh, this is wonderful. I think the hardest part was grating the butter. I think it would have been better if I'd had an open grater instead of the little box grater, but I was using what I had. If I were going to do it again, I would get an open grater, because with the enclosed grater that I had, all the bits of butter were getting stuck up in there, and it was hard getting them out. I got them all out, but it was kind of a pain. That was the hardest part, with grating that entire stick of butter, but it was definitely worth it because it is fantastic. This is so incredibly good. Look at that beautiful color. It's so good. And that cinnamon and sugar on the top, absolutely perfect. It's so good. It is absolutely fantastic. I was able to find the recipe, so I'm going to put a link in the description to that recipe on Lidl.com. And again, the hardest part was just grating that butter. Other than that, it was super easy. And the ingredients are so simple too. So yeah, pumpkin scones. Perfect for fall, perfect for Thanksgiving, perfect for whatever. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed getting to see the little pumpkin scones. They're definitely fantastic. I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you again soon.